In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most compassionate. Welcome to Farzeen Islamic Stories, a channel where we explore real stories from Islamic history, stories that shape nations and hearts alike. Today, we lions journey deep into one of the most powerful civilizations in the world, Egypt, and discover how the mighty land that once called its rulers gods was finally humbled by the truth of Allah thousands of years ago. Egypt stood as the first superpower on earth. The Nile River gave it endless life, flowing gently through golden sands, creating the richest lands known to man. Its people were wealthy, its kings powerful, and its monuments, the mighty pyramids, seemed eternal. But with greatness came arrogance. The pharaohs began to believe they were gods, not men. They built temples and tombs, wrapped themselves in gold, and demanded that their people worship them as divine beings. To preserve their false eternity, they created mummification, removing organs, wrapping bodies in cloth and honey, sealing them inside grand tombs with treasures for the afterlife. One pyramid after another rose to the sky, symbols of pride and power. Yet, behind the beauty, Egypt's strength began to fade. The cost of glory drained its wealth, and the people grew weak under the burden of their king's pride. And then came a slave child, Musa, sold in the markets of Egypt, but chosen by Allah. From the darkness of a well to the throne of power, he became the savior of a nation. Under his wisdom, Egypt flourished again, feeding nations during famine. But after Yusuf's time, corruption returned, and new pharaohs rose who enslaved the descendants of Israel. For 400 years, they lived as slaves, praying for freedom, until one day, a baby was born, Musa, the child who would change history forever. Allah protected him even inside Pharaoh's own palace. When Musa grew up and stood before the king, he spoke words that shook empires. "Let my people go." The arrogant Pharaoh refused, and Allah showed his signs, miracles beyond imagination. Yet the tyrant's heart remained blind. Then came the final moment, when Musa and his followers escaped Egypt, and Pharaoh's army chased them to the sea. With a single command from Allah, the sea opened, a path between two walls of water. Musa and his people crossed safely, but when Pharaoh entered, the waves crashed down. The greatest empire of that age drowned, not by swords, but by the will of the Almighty. That was the day the false god of Egypt fell, the day when arrogance met its end. And the words of the Prophet Muhammad came true, that Egypt would one day return to Islam under justice and mercy. My dear viewers, this is not just a story of Egypt, it is a reminder for all of us. Power fades, but faith remains, pride destroys, but truth always rises again. If you're new here, I welcome you to Farzeen Islamic Stories. My channel is still new, and I'm trying to bring you authentic Islamic history with love and care. If you find any mistakes, please kindly mention them in the comments so I can correct them and improve. And if you enjoy learning about the true stories of Islam, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every story brings us closer to the truth, and every truth brings us closer to Allah. May Allah guide us all, protect us from arrogance, and fill our hearts with faith and light. Ameen.